Bodybuilding shows are won from the back, or so you often hear. Now, this was obviously true back in the 90s and prior to the 90s, but is that true in today's modern day bodybuilding? And are backs in modern day bodybuilding evolving or are they devolving? Well, I figured let me compare the backs of the top 10 competitors from the 2011 Mr. Olympia versus the backs of the top 10 competitors from the 2021 Mr. Olympia and see who has the best backs, the 2011 or the 2021 Mr. Olympia. Starting off with the 10th spot, this is Hidea Yamagashi and Mohammed Shaban. Now keep in mind that we will only be focusing on their backs in the back double biceps and the back lat spread. We won't be focusing on their hamstrings, glutes, arms, and delts. And in the back double biceps, I feel like Yamagashi has a slight edge because his back looks less like a mess. It looks a bit harder and more detailed with better muscle separation. When it comes to the back lat spread, the same story is here. Yamagashi, he has better muscle separation, more detail, and he looks less like a mess. But at the same time, Shaban, he has more meat, especially when it comes to the lats, and he's also a bit wider. So this one is closer than the back double, but still I'll give Yamagashi the edge here, meaning that the 2011 guys gets 1 point. Now we get to the 9th spot, Ronnie Rockwell versus Akeem Williams. And neither of these guys have amazing back developments, but then again, Akeem Williams, he has always struggled with this throughout his career. His back just looks soft for some reason, so I'll give Rockwell a edge when it comes to the back in the back double biceps. When it comes to the back lat spread, usually Akeem pulls off a decent back lat spread, and I don't know if this is the angle or faulty execution, but in 2021, I am not digging Akeem's back lat spread. So overall, I would give an edge to Ronnie Rockwell, meaning that we have a 2-0 lead for the 2011 guys. Now moving on to Brandon Curry versus Justin Rodriguez, and we finally get a real battle here, guys. In my opinion, this one will be controversial, but I will give a slight edge to Justin Rodriguez in the back double biceps. I feel like his back looks just a bit harder, and he's also better in the lower back. You can see that Brandon Curry shows almost no detail in the lower back. Meanwhile, Justin Rodriguez, he has a fairly decent lower back. But Brandon Curry, he also has better traps, so there's an argument to be made for him. Now, when it comes to the back lat spread, I feel like Justin Rodriguez, he just has more meat on his back. But it is quite difficult to tell because Brandon Curry, he isn't spreading all the way. And he still executes the pose even till this day in the same manner that he did in 2011. So again, you can make an argument for both of these guys, but overall, I would give just a slight edge to Justin Rodriguez. So the 2021 guys take the first points. So still a 2-1 lead for the 2011 guys. Moving on to the X-Men, Tony Freeman versus Ian Valliere. And I do not think that I even need to elaborate further on this. The X-Man gets 1 point in the back double. Even though he does not execute it perfectly, he also gets 1 point in the back lat spread. So we get a 3-1 lead for the 2011 guys. Moving on to Dexter Jackson versus William Bonac. And again, we have a real battle here. But in my opinion, even though William Bonac, he might have more meat on his back overall, low lat insertions and things of that nature, I do not think that he's executing the pose to perfection, or at least not executing it well. And Dexter the Blade Jackson, he just showcases more detail, muscle separation, and things of that nature. So he definitely gets the edge when it comes to the back double biceps. Now, when it comes to the back lat spread, this is a lot closer. But in my opinion, I will still give an edge to Dexter the Blade Jackson. Yeah, William Bonac, he does have thicker and lower lat insertions. But then again, guys, I would say that Dexter Blade Jackson's back looks more aesthetic. It looks more beautiful. His upper traps are way more developed. His lower back showcases more detail. And overall, he just has more flow and muscle separation. So I give an edge to Dexter Jackson, meaning that the 2011 guys lead 4-1. But let's move on to the big boys. This is the 5th place at the 2011 Mr. Olympia Dennis Wolf versus the 5th place at the 2021 Mr. Olympia Nick Walker. When it comes to the back double biceps, surprisingly, this is very close. If you were to include the whole physique, you can make an argument for Dennis Wolf because he has amazing delts. But then again, Nick Walker also has amazing arms and he's probably beating Dennis Wolf downstairs. But when you look at just the back itself, Dennis Wolf, he's pretty much beating Mr. Nick Walker when it comes to the upper back because he has sort of better traps and better muscle separation up there. But overall, Nick Walker, he just has a way bigger back overall. A lot more thickness and a lot more meat downstairs because when you look at their lower back, it isn't even close. Nick Walker just absolutely smokes him. But when it comes to the back lat spread, I would say that you could give a slight edge to Mr. Dennis Wolf. But overall, I do not think that he is getting absolutely smoked in the back lat spread, so I will still give Mr. Nick Walker a slight edge, meaning that you have a 4-2 lead for the 2011 guys. Now we move on to Victor Martinez versus Hunter Labrada. And in my opinion, I guess some could make an argument for Hunter Labrada because he looks a bit grainier and harder from the back. But come on, guys, are you really going to say that Hunter Labrada is beating Victor Martinez in the back department? I would not say so. Victor Martinez just a lot more meat there, and he also has better muscle separation. And the same can be said in the back lat spread. Well, I guess you could say that Mr. Hunter Labrada, he has perhaps a bit more meat in the lat. He has quite a wide back, but then again, there is pretty much no details there. It looks all washed out. Meanwhile, Victor Martinez, he has all the details that you could wish for. And he also has that gnarly Christmas tree showcased in the back lat spread. So he definitely wins this one. Meaning that you have a 5-2 lead in the back department when it comes to the 2011 guys. Moving on to Kai Green versus Hadi Choopan. This one will be quite controversial. But in my opinion, guys, Mr. Hadi Choopan, he actually takes this one. When you look at their traps, there isn't even a contest. Hadi Choopan absolutely smokes Kai Green. And when you look at their lats, yeah, Kai Green, he has an edge there, definitely. But I do not think that the edge is as big as Hadi Choopan has when it comes to the traps. And in the back lat spread, I think that this is the same story. Basically, Hadi Choopan, massive edge when it comes to the traps. Kai Green, he has an edge when it comes to the lats, but it's only a slight edge in my opinion. Hadi Choopan, no slouch in the lats as well. So I would say that Mr. Hadi Choopan, he would take this comparison. That means that the score is 5-3 for the 2011 guys. But moving on to Jay Cutler versus Brandon Curry. This one, I do not think that I need to elaborate a lot on. Jay Cutler, he had a decent back in his prime, but this was pretty much at the end of his career, and his back looked like an absolute mess. So I won't elaborate any further, but I will say that Brandon Curry obviously has an edge when it comes to the back double. The same goes for the back lat spread, even though Jay Cutler, he's not absolutely horrible here because he always had the impressive width, which was pretty much his main strength. But still, his back looks like a mess and it does not look even symmetrical. So Brandon Curry easily takes this one, meaning that you have a 5-4 lead for the 2011 guys. Will the final comparison make it a tie? Or will the 2011 guys take the W? Well, let's find out. And boy, oh boy, here we have Phil Heath, the 2011 Mr. Olympia, versus Big Ramy, the 2021 Mr. Olympia. This one is not looking good for the 2021 guys, I'm not going to lie. And obviously, guys, I won't even elaborate further, but Heath, top 3 backs in the entire bodybuilding history. So obviously, he will take Bigger Ramy absolutely to school from the back, at least in the back department itself, even in the other areas, but here we are only focusing on the back department. Let's not embarrass Big Ramy further. When it comes to the back lat spread, some people could make an argument for Big Ramy because he has an incredibly wide back, and obviously Heath is terribly narrow. But then again, some people could make an argument that unicorns exist. Heath, too much thickness, too much separation, too much back meat. So obviously he takes that one. Overall, in conclusion, guys, are backs evolving or devolving? Well, in my opinion, I had the feeling that backs are getting worse in today's bodybuilding game. And those feelings might be valid because it looks like the 2011 guys won with a lead of 6-4. So there you go, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy New Year, guys, and I will see you next year.